none other than the pitch freak Antonio White himself. What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's up, baby? What's up? What's up?
I
Pitch freak.
we're a little juiced over here in the GSD podcast studio today. Again, I've got my good friend Antonio White with me today, the new author of his soon-to-be best-selling book, Close with Your Open. Antonio, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing terrific, Ken. Hey, thanks for the opportunity to talk about the book. Thanks for the opportunity to connect. And before we get started, can I just say that I had not planned on talking to anybody about this book, at least for another week or so, and then got your note here, and shout out to Stacy as well. And when Ken calls, you pick up the phone. Ken calls, say, let's get together. You get together. You just drop what you're doing, you get together, make it happen. So anything for you, brother Ken.
Well, hey, let me give you guys a real quick background on Antonio. Antonio's been in the investor angel capital funding business for over 25 years. He's raised over $750 million. He's crafted major pitches for NBC, NASA, Datamind, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Dude, it's awesome to have you with Fluzzle Tubes in here. I see that in that thing. We'll give Solana and Dell a shout out on Fluzzle Tube. Man, it's an honor to have you, my friend. And if you guys are familiar with our Grow Stack Drive virtual summit, we actually have one next Tuesday. I believe it's the 21st and 22nd of September. Another amazing lineup. But Antonio holds the record for the most amazing intro in the history of our virtual summit at Grow Stack Drive. Phenomenal time. Dude, tell us a little bit more about what you've got going on, where you at and what you got going on, my friend.
Well, first, thanks, Ken. Really appreciate it here. The whole point of this approach is to distill, help people get their point across more effectively, quickly. And right now, as we all come together as a community here with the Growth Stack Drive community, with the 10X community here, and with the outer global community that you've been building. And by the way, I cannot be more impressed with all the work that you're doing on that. We need a framework to accelerate the sales process. And that's going to be the best, fastest way for us to recover as a country with regards to the virus that we're dealing with and the economy getting back to work. For 25 years, I've been working on the pitch approach, and getting your pitch right is the fastest thing that you can do to affect your top line sales number. And Grant always likes to talk about that top 1 inch of the sales line. And the way to do that is with a strong open. And you talk about all the football activities that you do, and in baseball and so on that you live in. Basketball is your thing, of course. The origins for this is actually in mixed martial arts. Not that I practice mixed martial arts, but it comes really from Bruce Lee is a big part of this deal, studying his book on Jeet Kune Do. And it's this concept I think you're going to love. It's called the economy of motion. Economy of motion. And so economy of motion essentially is this notion here of what is the simplest, fastest thing that you can do to achieve the effect you desire. And so everybody thinks about these martial arts films where people are doing backflips and they're flying through the air and doing all these various things. And if you actually watch a Bruce Lee movie, you'll never see him doing anything like that. Never. Bruce Lee's whole philosophy, this idea is called the way of the intercepting fist. The whole philosophy is economy of motion. Basically, if my foot is closest to your leg, my objective is to have my foot scrape your leg. Not to do a backflip, not to do a bunch of maneuvers. It's what is the fastest thing I can do to address the objective that I have in mind. And so that's the whole point with Close with the Open.
So talk to me. So every time, just so our audience knows, Antonio and I are both Grant Cardone in the mentorship program with Grant. I'm also a licensee. So we've been friends for probably about 10 months now. Anytime I have something for myself, whether it be for my real estate team, my coaching business, whether it be for Grow Stack Drive, if I've got something where I'm wanting to work on a pitch or how I present this to someone, Antonio is always the guy that I call and does a phenomenal job of really breaking down not just your product or your pitch, but really coming from creating your pitch, coming from the perspective and the mindset or the view of the consumer. Talk to us about that, Antonio, that process.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So the idea is the number one secret that I give people when they ask me what they can do to improve their pitch is you need to connect more effectively with your audience. And the best way to do that is to give your pitch from your customer's perspective. And so the first step in my 3-step framework is how to articulate your value with the prospect's frame of mind, from the prospect's perspective. And so often we're focused on this idea of something that we want to sell, something that we're trying to move some product, we're trying to get our numbers for the day or what have you. And we're not thinking about how the customer is going to apply this product, what frame of mind they're in, how they view the world, all these various considerations that too many of us don't think about, and we're not trained to think about. And so through doing just many pitches over 25 years, I've learned that the way to affect, it's like you say, put the cookies on the bottom shelf, right? We've got to make it easy for our customers to understand what it is how they can benefit from what it is that we're providing for them, rather than what we think that they're going to benefit from. We need to think deeply before we pitch on how they'll benefit.
So talk to me real quick, Antonio. Why do you think business owners, entrepreneurs have a problem really kind of crafting that pitch? What do you think is why do we not automatically choose hey, here's my client. Every day in my 10X journal, the top line says, what problem can I solve today? Every single day I write it. It's over on my goals, right above my goals. What problem can I solve today? Why don't you think we naturally do that?
We don't. Well, if you go to Cardone U, and you'll see lots of information about selling, and there's nobody better on the planet than Grant Cardone at selling.
Right.
And that closing mindset is a big factor in our culture, how to close a deal. And closing mindset for professional salespeople, that separates successful salespeople from people who are just kind of getting by, is your ability to close a deal. The most sophisticated close, however, is not some kind of Glengarry, Glen Ross, twist your arm kind of close. It's a service-based close. And the thing that we're not trained about enough when it comes to selling is we think selling is closing. And that's the whole premise with the book. Is my thesis here is selling is not about a closing mindset. Selling is about an opening mindset, right? I talk to people about, how do you close a closed door? You got to open it. You got to open the door before you can get through. So if you can't get through you can't close a closed customer. You have to open up the customer to talk with you, to share what it is that their needs are, to get them interested in your idea. We're not taught that in school. We're not even taught that in sales programs, this idea of opening. And so, the way that
why are we not taught that, Antonio?
I think we're not taught that because sales itself is an undervalued skill set. Sales itself is some. Look, here's the thing. I'm literally just thinking about it just now as I talk with you. Sales is freedom. Sales is free. If you can sell, you're free. It is the number one job that you can do at any age, any gender, any ethnicity, any sexual orientation. Anybody on the planet. If you can speak or move or blink your eyes, you can sell. And if you can be professional at that and proficient at that, you can be free because you can go anywhere. You can have a job anywhere. You can be employed anywhere. You can be your own person. And so what happens is the way that we're taught in our schools here is we're taught in our schools to go work for somebody. We're not taught entrepreneurship. Right. We're taught, conformity. Right. And so this whole approach, what you're doing is you're giving people the tickets to the kingdom with the growth stack drive approach that you have here, is because you're teaching people the principles for freedom. And so this idea here is, I don't know why we're not taught this in school, but my thinking here is that schools are designed to help us get a job for the most part. They're not designed to help us, build transformative wealth for our families and for our communities. They're taught, they're designed to teach us to go get a job, and that's fine. There's a rule, there's reasons for that, and there's good things about that. If you're going to be a surgeon, if you're going to be an engineer, it's good to have school. But for most businesses, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to transform yourself, your community, your family, you've got to be able to sell. And so that's the other reason for the book, Ken, is before you are able to get into Cardone U and really get the most out of it, you've got to know what your pitch is. And so in life, we're not even told, we're told to believe in other people's pitches. And so ultimately from you, and one of the things that you've instilled in me is this idea here, if you got to be sold on your own pitch. And so you help, so Grant helps with the 10X mindset. You help with the framework to make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to be able to capitalize on whatever it is that you have in mind to do. And then this is the deal to get you going. This is the deal to get you starting to talk with customers and to get in the right mindset for how you create value.
Talk to me about some of the steps in crafting and creating that pitch that come from your book, Antonio.
I love it. I just thought real fun, what it might be fun real quick is to show where does a pitch live in the sales business cycle. I just thought about this for a moment. I thought I'd bring out a little helpful diagram here for it. And so if we think about this right now here, we've got our marketing side here. We've got all of our marketing activities, right? Right. And then here we have all of our sales activities, right? And so our marketing side is all focused on getting folks' attention, right? And then on the sales side here, it's about closing those deals and getting those. Well, this is where your pitch lives. Mm-hmm. Your pitch lives right in the middle of those activities. It's the blending between marketing and sales, right? And so what happens is the reason why we aren't pitching enough is because too many people think that a pitch is a mini sales deal, mini sales close. Mm-hmm. And too many marketers think that a pitch is just an idea concept. Well, a pitch has to have three key pillars. There's a 3-step pitch framework that I've developed that's in the book. And the steps are here are the steps. First step, articulate your value from the prospect's perspective. Step 2, which we are not taught anywhere. Are you ready for step 2? Let me tell you step 2.
Go ahead, man.
Step 2 is the big one. Step 2 is incorporating emotion into your presentation. Incorporate emotion into your pitch. And it's emotion for very specific. By the way, I don't subscribe to any type of manipulative tactic when it comes to the sales process. The whole concept of selling should be like I'm talking to you about a movie that I want you to see, or I'm talking to you about a restaurant that you got to try out, or a vacation spot that I know that you love. It's got to be from one person, human being, to another human being with care and consideration and thoughtfulness, right? So what you're selling is really important to make sure that you're selling something that you can believe in, number one. When I say getting sold on your pitch, you need to be sold on what it is that you're selling so that you can talk like a human being rather than a machine or a robot, right? Or a closing machine, right? Because people don't want to, people love to buy, but they do not like to be closed. They love to buy, but they do not like to be closed.
That's good.
Right. And so with step 2 is creating emotion here. You've got to make sure that people connect. You've got 10 seconds to do this pitch. This book here teaches you how to make a 10-second pitch that sells. And the steps are, you got to start with value from the prospect's perspective. 2, incorporate emotion. And emotion is two words for emotion. Your product either brings joy or relief. That's it. Now, you can be nuanced about it if you want to. But if you're trying to connect at the heart, you need to bring people joy. When I hear your name and Ken would like to talk to you, it brings me joy. You have a brand about you that you've established already. And by the way, we're going to talk about branding. We can talk about branding too. But your experience of working with you is the number one factor that helps you separate yourself from your competition. The experience of people interacting with you. Are they having a joyful experience? Or are they getting relief? Either one is good. But I have a saying that I put in the book is, when in doubt, choose joy, right? And what happens is that too many people are taught to sell fear. They're taught to sell scarcity. And that's not the way that actually works. People do buy based upon fear and scarcity, but that's not long lasting. You cannot scare people forever into being customers, right? The only way to create a lasting, meaningful relationship is by instilling joy and sharing a joyful experience with people. So that's step 2. So step 3 is you need an invitation. Ken, if I had a great party, would you like an invite to come join me and have some fun?
Would. Of course. I love San Francisco. I want to go to that Italian restaurant we went and had that bottle of wine at last time I was there.
Oh, that's right. That Il Fornaio, that was pretty good. That was pretty good, right? So it's an invitation. I want to invite you to go to pitchfreaks.com and sign up early so I can share this book with you, right? Pitchfreaks.com. You want to invite friends. You don't want to manipulate them or manhandle them or guilt them or push them here. You want to invite them to learn what it is that you have to offer them from their perspective, how it will benefit them, the opportunity for them. So 3 steps are: articulate value from the prospect's perspective, incorporate emotion, which is either going to be joy or relief. And when in doubt, choose joy. And then you need an invitation. Here's the problem. Marketing people hate selling. Selling people hate marketers. Right? That's why I'm the pitch freak, right? Because I love both. Both are essential in order to be able to captivate somebody's imagination and then take them through the process here to actually do a transaction, to get value transacted, right? Like you and I talk about all the time, right? And so you need both. You need marketing and you need sales. And so those are the 3 steps.
Let me ask you a question then. So we're talking about doing a pitch. I know there's what different kind of pitches. I know there's a 10-second, there's an elevator pitch. Talk to me about the different kinds of pitches, number 1.
Right.
And then number 2, if we're talking about a 10-second pitch, how do I get emotion in that?
Yeah, great question.
How do I get emotion in something that quick?
Great question. First of all, here, how long have you been married, Ken?
27 years.
27 years. So 27 years, so maybe 28 years ago, I don't know how fast you got engaged here, but somewhere around 28 years ago here, you made it probably the pitch of your life.
Yes.
I would think, right? And congratulations on that, by the way. That's how we call a lasting relationship, right? That might be the most important pitch you ever made in your life.
Most definitely.
Okay, dynamite. So we're pitching all the time, right? So this approach can come from, when you can I be a little personal for a moment here?
Go ahead,
I'll keep it clean. When you decided that your wife was the one, what was it that went through your mind to say, how am I going to compel this wonderful lady here to spend more time with me?
Oh, I guess it was emotion. I'm like, how can I sell? I mean, I've got Grant says it all the time. Listen, you sell yourself to your spouse, you sell your self to a girlfriend, you're constantly selling yourself all the time.
That's right. You need to articulate the opportunity that's available to her, right? There's an opportunity. I've got an opportunity here for us to do something together and to build a life together, right? And if you like the idea of my vision of what a life could be like together here, I want to invite you in being a part of it. You have to engage. You have to ask, right? You don't say, I presume that you're going to be married to me here, and this is the way that it's going to be here. And of course, there's no other. I mean, you could do that approach too, but we get on a knee, we offer an engagement, we ask, right? This is the approach here for the most important pitch. So you can apply this principle to any kind of thing where you need somebody to take action. You can apply this principle for, okay? But you can do investor pitches, of course, for business. You can do prospect sales proposals, brand development and marketing, content marketing, jury presentations. You can do political campaigns, community outreach. You can preach from the pulpit. I mean, you can do budget proposals, what have you. If you're trying to get somebody to vote, act, or buy, you need a pitch that's going to move the dial in some kind of capacity. So whether you're running for political office in the 6th grade, or if you're trying to get that incredible person to pay attention to you and be your partner for the rest of your life here, or if you're trying to pitch the definitive guide on pitching on planet Earth, you got to make a pitch about it, right? And so for anybody that needs to get somebody to respond in an ethical way that doesn't creep you out. I mean, this book, Ken, is really designed for people who have trouble selling. And I've done quite a bit of testing over the past year in particular. And one of the biggest challenges, oddly enough, and I wonder if you can share your sense of this, one of the biggest challenges that I'm surprised to know is how queasy and complicated that entrepreneur's relationship with sales is. I'm shocked. Most entrepreneurs do not like selling or have a difficulty with selling.
I'm a terrible salesperson. I am a highly relational individual. Right. So the sales process sometimes is like, yeah. You said it just a minute ago. It's like sleazy. It feels kind of creepy, but a pitch, and being around you long enough to understand, I haven't read the book, but I'm sure I've heard it 100 times in all of our conversations. A pitch is different because you talked about earlier on the emotion. So I don't want to swing this too far from what you were talking about, but I do want to ask you this question. So the more passionate the individual is about their product or their service, whatever it is they're offering, again, that goes into articulating the value from your client's perspective. Right. The more passionate you are about that, I would say is the easier to sell and the easier your pitch would be. Would that be fair?
That's completely fair. I mean, you being so, look, nobody is going, how about this? This is the first time I actually sold, I talked about this particular part. I used to think there's 3 reasons why people don't buy from you. And then I thought, well, no, there's really only 2 reasons why people don't buy from you. And those 2 reasons are somebody's not sold on the value that you're presenting, or you're not sold on the value that you're presenting. But now I think there's only 1 reason why people don't buy. And the 1 reason is because you're not sold on the value that you're presenting. There's only 1 reason. I used to think, well, maybe it's timing and money and then value. No, because if somebody finds enough value, they will find the money. If somebody finds enough value in what you're offering, they'll find the time. So with that in mind, there's only 1 reason why people don't buy from you. And that's because you have not articulated enough value, you have not connected emotionally, and you've not created the right invitation. There's something wrong with one of those 3 things. And all those things come from you not being sold on your own pitch. And so it's the process of just pitching, number 1, but it's also 2, your belief in your product. And so if you know me, I'm not a bragging kind of person, but I am sold on my product. And there's 2 books that you need in business. There's 2. You need the 10X rule and you need Close with Your Open. If you've got those 2 books, you have the opportunity to do whatever you want in life, in business, because you're going to have the right mindset, the 10X mindset, which you have to be able to dream big, right? And then you're going to have all the mechanisms inside the 10X rule to help you develop that framework, right? And then you need Close with Your Open here so that you can connect immediately in the most effective way possible. Right. So for you, passion is absolutely essential. If I had to say somebody needs to be if I said besides the 3 steps, if I added a 4th step, I'd put one right before articulate value from the prospect perspective. I say be passionate. Yes. About your pitch. Be sold on your pitch. That should be rule number 1. I might have to go back to the drawing board because you just gave me a good idea on that. But you've got to be sold on your pitch before you can pitch, right? And you have to be sold on the product. Here, that's a big thing. Ken, question for you. When it comes to selling, you're selling your own product. You can be passionate about it. Mm-hmm. But if you're out there in the wild, you're selling other people's products. Right. Often, right? It's tough sometimes to get passionate about other people's products. So even if you're a company, you've got to be passionate in selling and pitching your own products to your own salespeople. That's counterintuitive. You would think a salesperson knows how to sell. Not true.
Well, and I think what happens is, Antonio, the companies get to the point to where you sell because there's a dollar or a check or a commission attached to that sales, right, which in turn really undermines the value proposition or the incentive or catalyst that drives a sales guy to go out and sell, which is I'm passionate about and believe in the product in which I'm selling.
Well, this goes into your 5 pillars, Ken. This idea of intentionality. You talk about that, a lot. You talk about passion. You talk about intentionality, right? Talk about focus, right? And what is your intent? Your intent is tied to, how would you define intent for folks who haven't been on GSD yet?
Yeah, so we have 5 filters for Growth Strategy Drive: passion, focus, intentionality, teachability, and flexibility. And intentionality is all about what I say. So when I communicate things with people, I am super intentional in the language that I use when I communicate with people, whether that's to be to add value or to bring clarity. There's reasons I'm intentional. A lot of times it's to bring value to people, but a lot of times it's to bring clarity, because we're not very clear a lot of times because we're not passionate about what we're doing, or we're afraid. We just don't bring a lot of clarity. So to add value and to bring clarity are the two main reasons that we're intentional in what we say via text message, email, conversations like you and I are having right now. Any kind of conversation that we have, we're intentional in what we say.
For sure, sure. And everybody talks about how important communication is. And we're not trained to be professional communicators. We're trained to be professional reporters, right? And so communicating people and moving people, and I don't mean like physically moving people, I mean emotionally connecting with people so that they believe in what it is that you're trying to do and want to join you, right? That is a skill set that we are not taught, at least deeply enough, in school or throughout life. There's no movies about it. There are very few movies about people writing and moving people. We have our Martin Luther Kings, we have movies about Jesus, we have books of that regard here, but that's not popular culture right now.
Right.
And popular culture is taking what you want. It's all about taking stuff. You got what I want it. Give it to me. Right. It's mine. Where is the discussion here about connecting people with from a heart-centered perspective, from a value-centered perspective, and building things? This is not super popular in our culture right now. Right. Is the challenge here. And I think there's a reason for that. It's because we're not taught another way of thinking. We're not offered an alternative approach. And the challenge with that is that if you're not offered a way to collaborate and invite people to join whatever it is you're doing in a way that's not manipulative, right, then life is challenging for you, right? And so for me, this notion here that we need to invite people to join our cause, our movement, our mission, or we need to tell people that we want to be invited into their mission. Kent, when you say come on to this call, or come check out my program, or come talk to me about this here, these are welcome invitations. These invitations you offer here make me feel so good to be a part of your world. That's what you want for every business. Right. You want every business to feel like family. You want every business to feel like that. And too many businesses don't focus on that. They just focus on what I call the sales mindset versus the service mindset. Right. And Grant's been talking about this a little bit too, recently. Right. But the whole premise of this book is service mindset. There's a whole subchapter in here about service mindset. And if you're not talking from a service mindset here, you are missing humongous opportunity. And it sounds counterintuitive. The way to sell is not to sell. The way to sell is to serve and solve problems. So at the beginning of this call, you said, what's your top line? What problems can I solve today? Something like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I know the answer to that. The answer to that is always your customer's problem. Right. What customer problem do you have today to solve? That's the problem that you need to be solving. Right.
Let me say this. You said this about service just a minute ago. So we were on a team call with my real estate team yesterday. I've got several agents, Christian, who heads up all my sales for the Growth Stack Drive side. And one of my young agents yesterday, he's working with a client, and I asked him, I said, did you set a time he had a phone call. I said, did you set a time to talk to them the next day? And he was like, no, but I did. Blah, blah. I said, whoa, I didn't ask you if you did all that stuff. I said, did you on that call? And I could see Christian, we're on a Zoom call, Christian shaking his head no. And the very first thing I said, Christian, go ahead and talk to him. The very first thing Christian said was he quoted Grant, and he said, service is always senior to selling. So we literally just yesterday, with the clients that we're working on as buyer's agents right now, several clients, we literally, instead of setting them just up on a campaign where they get emailed every morning links for homes they're looking for in their search parameters, what we've done is each of our agents now are taking and copy and pasting those links, and we're actually texting them to them in the morning going, hey, just wanted you to know, didn't want you to wait to find an email, or if, amongst all the other emails, we wanted you to know our team's working hard to help you find the house of your dreams.
That's exactly right. Service
is senior to selling.
And by the way, finding the house of your dreams is connecting emotionally. Here's a quick pitch. A quick pitch is, are you looking for the house of your dreams for your family? That's how you open.
Right.
I'm Ken Joslin, and I want to put you in the house of your dreams for half the cost and none of the hassle. Just like a timeshare. Yep. Call me at gsd.com. Call me at kenjoslingroup.com. You don't need much more than that to get somebody's attention.
Right.
Right. And so the challenge here is if you incorporate love, and by the way, I'd love to share you more about what our real estate team can do for you in putting you in the house of your dreams. What is the house of your dreams, right? Remember, you got 10 seconds here, right? So if you're looking for the house of your dream, you're already setting yourself apart. You're not saying, are you looking for a house to help build your family's wealth? That's a different way to go about it. Are you looking for a real estate investment here that is going to help you get the best return possible? That's a different approach. But are you trying to find the house for your family for your dreams? Right? Those are all minute shifts in a real estate pitch, right? But they need to be connected emotionally. Would you like a worry-free real estate investment here that you can rest easy, right? That is an emotional way to connect with somebody here. So for you, what I'd love to be able to offer is being sold on your pitch, being passionate, and being intentional in it. And that intention should be service-minded, right? And by the way, you would think with this $750 million here that I've helped people raise over a period of time, that's through liquidity events or through key customer sales. When you're in business, the most important sale in your business is to you, that you're sold on it, right? The next one is to your first customer. Because once you get that first customer, right, then you'll get the second one, right? And most companies have trouble with that first customer. And when you have a multi-million-dollar venture capital backed startup creating a brand new technology, getting that first customer is the most challenging. It's the most important milestone for a venture-backed startup or an angel-backed startup for that matter. And so often these companies, especially when I was doing it back in the day, these people are coming up with very important technology, and it's very complicated technology. And so to be able to pitch a complicated technology and sell it to a big-time company like an Apple or an Oracle or an organization like that, which a lot of my clients did, they would have to be able to not solve a financial problem. They need to solve an engineering problem of some sort, right? But guess what? Engineers are human beings too, and they think emotionally as well. So you've got to get at the heart of a customer's challenge. If you can do that quickly, you can sell anything. So that's the whole focus of the premise of this approach is whether you're a startup, whether you're an established company. We talked about on C-Rock's podcast just when COVID broke out. I was talking about a client of mine that in 2008 was really behind the gun. And here's if I have one thing to share with your audience, besides the three-step approach here, it's you need to pitch for a profit margin. The reason why you want to buy this book at pitchfreaks.com, the reason why you want to buy this book is not because I'm a handsome dude. It's not because I wore my magenta shirt. It's not because of the three-step pitch. It's because of none of that. It's because you need to drive profit margin. You need profit margin to have a sustainable business. If you don't have a high level of profit margin, you cannot provide world-class customer service. If you can't provide profit margin, there's no reason for it. And so this book, the whole premise of this book is you could have the exact same product offering as your competitor. And with your pitch, you'll be able to charge a higher margin. This is like magic. This is like magic, right? But it's very practical, right? Because the idea here is that if you're not charging enough margin, then you're not able to do the things. You can't provide that extra step that your competition can't. But the only thing is, too many people think my product is the same as somebody else's. My product is a commodity. My product just like everybody else. Well, that's not true. Your pitch is like everybody else's. Your product does not have to be the same. We can talk about a different aspect of the product, different use of the product, different benefit of the product. We can talk about every kind of other descriptor about your product here. But if it's the same, there's no reason for you to be in business other than if you do it cheaper, I suppose, right? But there's an alternative view. We do it better. And so if you want to be the leader in your industry, in your segment, in what you do, then close with your open is the way to get there because your pitch is your positioning. Your pitch is your position. If you come off talking about price, if you come off talking about low-level things that people don't care for or things that just focused on you, then people get the understanding about what you're offering immediately, especially if your intentionality is not there to provide them with value, right? So you can't manipulate this 10-second pitch approach because the foundational principle is built upon value from the prospect's perspective. But everything is designed so that you can create a pitch that allows you to increase your margin. So if you increase your sales margin on your exact product here, then that is how you can demonstrate meaningful progress over your competitors.
I love it, man. Antonio, let me see that book again. Tell everybody where they can get it. When can they order the book?
So you can go on to pitchfreaks.com right now and get on the list to secure your copy here. It is going to be available probably within the next 2 weeks here. We're just starting our promotions at the beginning of next week here. So you're the first person. Ken, God bless you for having me on the call today and being the first person to interview me about the book. You're always ahead of the curve. You're always of service to people. You're always showing care. You're doing it, even at the cost of promoting your own event. And by the way, can I do a quick pitch for Growth Stack Drive, if you don't mind? Please. First of all, seeing you build this program has been just a pleasure. Seeing inside the program, being part of your community has been one of the transformative elements of my professional career. If you go to growthstackdrive.com, if you go to Ken Joslin's website and you become a part of the Growth Stack Drive movement, you will get the foundational pillars that you need to build a meaningful business. And beyond just calendaring, which, by the way, Ken's got a process for calendaring that is phenomenal and very easy to apply and will change your life. And I've applied it myself. Just the calendaring alone is probably worth being a part of the program here. But you get so deep into how to make life easier for business people, how to make practical moves, how to, the problem is that we're not trained in the process of how to behave like professional business people. Right. And so this program here is about helping you train to communicate. Your process, Growth Stack Drive, is how to behave, how to spend time during the course of the day. What should you be doing? How should you be getting the most out of it? So I just want to thank you. If you have not gone onto growthstackdrive.com, and Ken did not ask me to do this, I don't get any benefit other than seeing Ken smile and seeing you succeed as a professional by learning what Ken, Uncle Ken, Brother Ken, Coach Ken has to teach you.
Man, so somebody called me Uncle Ken the other day, and I told Pops. Brandon Say called me Pops, and I shot back. I went, dude, I ain't that old, bro. Like, I'm not that old. I'm just 52. I'm not old enough to be your Pops. You better slow down.
But that comes from wisdom. That comes from you have reached such a high level of service in our community, Ken, here, that you're looked at as an elder statesman. Even though we're the same age, you're considered an elder statesman here. And that's because you live your life by service and by passion and by caring for folks. So you embody this. I mean, technically you could have wrote this book because you embody the principles of this book: service mindset, connecting with people emotionally here, and inviting them into what it is that you do to become a part of it. So I just want to say how much I appreciate you, how much I'm proud of you,
I love you, buddy.
How much you inspire me, brother.
I love you. I just saw somebody pop up on Facebook said just reserved a copy of your book. So
thank you.
pitchfreaks.com. Check out my guy Antonio. Close with the open guy. It really is. Number one, he's a phenomenal human being, got a phenomenal heart, and really does. And we talk a lot on the Growth Stack Drive side, on the Joslin coaching side, my one-on-one business owner clients that I have across the country and over in Europe. We really do talk about value add. I did a talk. It's on our YouTube channel called 3 Characteristics of a Passionate Leader. And the first thing passionate leaders do is they're intentional on adding value. And this is the one thing that you guys can expect from Antonio over and over and over and over and over is this cat always is looking to be intentional in adding value. My friend, I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Pitch Freak. Love you, brother.
Hey, guys, thanks for joining us on our Growth Stack Drive podcast. Look forward to seeing you guys next time at noon Eastern time on our GSD podcast. You can go to growthstackdrive.com /coaching. Learn a little bit more about our new GSD code that we just dropped 3 8-week courses covering mindset, strategy, and multiplication through leadership development. growthstackdrive.com /coaching. Love you, buddy. Enjoy your day, my friend.